So I get a couple emails asking what kind of metering should I use and why do I use something in a certain situation over something else. Well, I'm here to tell you why I use spot metering 95.9999% of the time. Well, personally, to me, spot metering is basically the 100% way to get the look you need. You want to get the face exposed well if you're doing portraits, if you're doing any kind of subjects. So focus in on the eyes, get that well. If that looks good, yeah, the background might be a little darker. The highlights might be blown out a little bit if I'm not using flash outside. But the key part is getting this, if you're doing portraits, in good, clear focus, good exposure. So I use spot metering and I have full control over what I want my light to look like. So what I could do is, if I want a light to look a certain way, I might be able to put my spot over there, see what my camera gives me, and you dial it down the way I want, not necessarily exposing 100% for what the camera tells me, and then going to my subject and putting that in myself. So I'm building my own light. I'm building the way I want it to look, and that's key, especially if you're at weddings, rock concerts, any kind of concerts or anything like that, where lights will be changing or everything like that. You want the box, you want that little thing on your subject. I'm not saying you have to do it, but I really prefer spot metering because it gives me the full look that I want. This is where I want the light to be. This is where I want to evaluate my light, right here on people, on subjects. If you're doing any kind of maybe macro photography or anything like that, you have clear control over what the light will do on your subject, and that's the way I approach it, and that's why I use spot metering. It's really key. You can use center spot metering where it does it a little more than just the box, where it goes outside a little bit. That's also fine. But really, one of the problems I have with matrix metering, where you usually see the box and it meters for the whole environment, it will take this darker background and try to overcompensate for me, and it might look a little different. It just won't look good. It might really kill down the background where I don't even want it to do that. More or less a less auto type of thing. I read where I want it to be. That's why I use spot metering. So what metering do you use and why do you use it? Do you also use spot metering, or do you like a matrix metering? But one of the huge things about matrix metering that I want to talk about is if you're outside on a bright sunny day, you have my subject here, and say if that sun was back there on the background, well, your subject will become a silhouette because your camera mostly reads that there's a lot of bright light around me, and that's just how it'll be. I would be a dark subject. So that's why I use spot metering. You have full control, and as I said, I use that at least 95 to 99% of the time. If anything, if I want a little bit more leeway, I will use center weighted. But once again, those are very similar. It just gives a little bit more outside the box. But I like to be safe. I like to be in more manual, more control.